This, guys, is the biggest launch of the year. I mean, I'm so excited. We all have been working very hard for the last 6 months. I've been waiting for this moment, not just to tell you, but actually to show you more. So let's talk automation. SPs don't invest in automation just for automation's sake. They want to achieve better outcomes. That's faster time to market, that's reduced costs, that's better experience, that's continuous innovation. And nowhere does it matter more than in the metro, where scale, complexity, distributed services, they demand an automation-led approach, automation-first approach, actually. But sadly, more than 80% of the DIY kind of automation projects, they fail. You may say that's the retro way of doing it. And at Juniper, we think there's a better way. We actually know there is a better way. And that is the future I want to welcome you all to. That's the future of WAN automation that we at Juniper are creating. And that future is cloud delivered, AI enabled, and that's what we are announcing today. We're completely reimagining how network automation should be delivered and consumed. It's cloud delivered means that you can just sign up, you can log in, you can hook up on devices and go in minutes. You don't need to worry anymore about hardware, software installation, overheads. It's faster than trying to do, DIY automation that takes years. It's AI enabled. So what we are doing is we are taking the infrastructure from our Juniper cloud that is based on the Mist infrastructure, and that comes in with built-in AI, ML data and training pipelines. And on top of that, we are building WAN-specific AI ops use cases, which means that we can even figure out the most difficult WAN problems that humans will miss. We can figure out why they happen. We can fix them before they even impact the experience. We're changing for Paragon as a service, the consumption model to use cases, because that's the value of the cloud. You only use what you need and you pay for only what you use. So if somebody wants to solve one business problem, we don't have to throw the whole monolithic system at them. They can start small. They don't need to go all in or boil the ocean. Just start small, go fast, choose your own adventure through the entire life cycle of use cases that will be available on Paragon Cloud. What we are also announcing is this a few other ideas wherein what we're really doing is creating a holistic shrink-wrapped hardware and software solution. So at the hardware layer, for example, we are embedding the Paragon test agents into our ACX 7000 family, and these become built-in sensors, and coupled together with Paragon as a service, they actually help you detect and fix experience issues throughout the network. It's another proof point of experience-first networking. Another example of that is security. So there is an embedded hardware element of that, wherein with TPM 2.0 chips that come in built in to these devices. On top of that, we are building a new application called Network Trust that's able to continuously check the software integrity, the authenticity of the hardware, thanks to the TPM chips that have a unique dev ID link to them. And it creates this network-wide trust core that allows you to have actionable insights and really guarantees that you have a safe network. Above all, in the cloud model, we are creating the most intuitive and simple experience. The art and science of UX design is going to shine at the forefront of Paragon SaaS. You will literally feel like it's following you and reading your mind. And that modern UI will be built upon elements like conversational assist, recommendation engines, layered architecture, visual guides, and so on. I will show you a sneak peek into that in just a minute. If you can please go to the next slide. So what's new? Like I said, we are shifting to this use case based approach. And these are use cases that are mapped to business outcome. And each of these use cases is whole. The pricing will be based on use cases. We will also take a few use cases and attach them to the metros and make them free so that it allows you to sell the complete solution and the value proposition together. And we're also applying all these use cases to the different domains, starting with metro. So we'll obviously cover edge and core and peering, but we will also take it to newer domains like optics, which is becoming even more important for our hardware business. We'll take it to things like fabric and BNG cups as well. So some examples of the use cases you will see is lifecycle management as a service. And one element of that is onboarding. And I will just show you in a bit how we've completely reimagined that. Trust and compliance is another use case. This is where, we double down on the solution with the embedded trust as well as trust as a service. Active assurance, you're well aware of that. AI ops, I spoke about that. And then we will have more use cases like observability, provisioning, planning, and so on. So let me give you just one example of onboarding where all these elements of how we have reimagined Paragon, we've taken the products, broken them down into little components, but reconstructed them into use cases with a phenomenal UI in a way to make the use case whole. The onboarding is a phenomenal example of that whole philosophy and that vision. So can you please roll the video?
Paragon Automation as a Service has numerous use cases. Let's take a look at one little example here.
A typical Cloud Metro network could scale into thousands of devices. Onboarding these devices at speed matters. The faster you onboard them with zero errors, the faster your time to revenue.
In this case, we'll see how field technicians and NOC engineers can onboard new devices in a few minutes rather than days, getting it right the first time, every time.
Kim is our newly graduated field technician who's been subcontracted to deploy an aaS 7100 in a greenfield Cloud Metro. Let's see how Paragon Automation as a Service makes Kim's life easy with just her phone. Onboarding used to be time-consuming, cumbersome, and error-prone. Field technicians would typically need to have a device manual, call a NOC engineer for interventions, and be a CLI expert. Not anymore, though. Kim now has everything she needs at her fingertips. Kim unboxes, racks, and powers up the aaS, and then cables in a port for management. Next, she scans the QR code, which takes us straight to the Paragon webpage for that particular device. Thanks to the QR code, Paragon already knows the serial number and specific model of this device.
Behind the scenes, Paragon has already pulled up the entire network plan and intent, including everything the device will need, such as IP addresses and configs.
Paragon then triggers the onboarding workflow for Kim. The first step is to validate if it is indeed authentic Juniper hardware. Paragon does that using the embedded TPM 2.0 chip that is linked to a unique device ID.
Once Paragon knows it is a trusted device, it pushes the correct software image and configs as the first step of the workflow.
Paragon guides Kim through the physical connections she needs to make. Showing her which cables to insert into which ports. She selects the option to follow a step-by-step installation. If any port is installed with the incorrect plugin, Paragon will flag it and allow Kim to provide an explanation.
And within minutes, the aaS is correctly cabled and powered on, getting it right the first time.
As a final step, Kim checks her smartphone to make sure that Paragon shows everything as up. All she needs to do now is press Next. Paragon takes over and finishes the final steps of the workflow. While she enjoys her coffee, Paragon meticulously works to validate everything in the background. Paragon automatically ensures that the correct hardware and software are installed, the right configurations are loaded, and intended services are provisioned. It then ensures that the device is healthy by checking the fan, power, temperature, memory, and so on.
Moving on to check if the interfaces are up and working as they should be, Paragon runs connectivity and performance tests to ensure the network SLAs are met.
Paragon runs active assurance tests using synthetic traffic, pinging right to the edge of the network and across various cloud instances, checking that delay, jitter, loss and latency parameters meet experience KPIs. Kim then finishes the job by uploading photos of her work into Paragon and changing the status of the work order to complete. It's a stress-free experience for both Kim and Tom, the NOC engineer who's had full oversight all this time of all the onboarding tasks going on across their entire network, thanks to Paragon Automation as a service for keeping them both in sync with the latest network state.
But life isn't always perfect, so let's see what happens when something doesn't go according to plan.
After Paragon alerts Kim to a connectivity issue, she investigates the fault details through her mobile phone and learns that an optical interface is impaired, with a recommended action to check connection. She unplugs and reconnects a new cable to the correct port and sees that the error has been fixed.
This is a simple example of an AI-enabled bad cable detection and remediation use case delivered by Paragon Automation as a service.
All the while, Tom has full oversight into the current network state, so he knows when an issue has been remediated. The validation resumes, and this time it completes successfully.
With Paragon to assist field technicians, new aaS installations are quick, easy and error-free. And when problems do arise, they can be detected and resolved within minutes. Paragon does far more than just assist field technicians. It's a powerful solution for NOC engineers like Tom.
After the network field technicians are done, other issues may arise beyond physical connectivity, such as with reachability or performance. Paragon identifies exactly what requires attention and allows Tom to drill down into the specific root cause with assistance from its AI engine. In this case, there is a problem somewhere through the connection to the network edge. Paragon provides Tom with many advanced measurements to improve service quality, thanks to Juniper's Active Service Assurance Test Agent, which is natively embedded within the aaS 7000 family. This includes Layer 2 or Layer 3 tests, DNS quality measurements, HTML web page accessibility tests, validation to the cloud, as well as reflection-based testing. Paragon's Active Assurance can also be deployed anywhere along the end-to-end service path, so that experience is measured from device to cloud.
With the Juniper devices acting as network experience sensors, active testing is inherently accessible as soon as these aaS devices are added.
In this way, Paragon delivers on Juniper's vision for experience-first networking, using our AI-assisted cloud-delivered Paragon Automation as a service. Tom can now share this month's Cloud Metro onboarding report with his management, proving that this unique approach from Juniper redefines onboarding, from unboxing to being ready for service at unprecedented speed with ease, doing it right the first time, every time.
As you would have seen in this, we have completely redefined what onboarding should be doing. Most vendors will stop just at an image upgrade and then doing ZTP and config. And even that take hours, in many cases days. In our case, we have reduced the entire onboarding time to minutes, hopefully around 10 or less. But we've also added a whole other score of checks, checking the hardware is authentic, checking the device health, checking the links, actually testing the links before we say, yes, onboarding is a success. So here you can see all the different elements of Paragon coming through, from Paragon Insights to assurance, right? All those components are making this use case whole and creating the differentiation. Let's go to the next slide. So there is absolutely no industry parallel to this onboarding use case. And that's exactly the same idea that we want to bring to all the other use cases. So our differentiation versus some of our competitors, firstly, it's not that SaaS by itself is a new idea or a new solution nobody has launched. Yes, some of our competitors have got some SaaS offerings, but two big differences. One, the scope of those SaaS offerings is limited. Most of them don't cover full life cycle, leave alone do it for WAN. Very few exact parallels are there. And even the ones that have launched something around SaaS, they have essentially lifted and shifted their existing solutions. We, on the other hand, are reimagining the entire experience, use case by use case, making each one stand out for itself. We'll bring a unique pricing model, and with WAN AI Ops, we are going to extend Juniper's leadership in AI Ops that Mist is known for and bring it to WAN. So if we can go to the next slide. And to the naysayers who say, well, the market is not ready for cloud, the benefits are very clear. And our dipstick is telling us, the external the analysts are telling us that 61% of CSPs actually are ready and they want use cases from the cloud. And our own dipstick survey with about 26 customers, this is the voice of the customer, we asked them if they would be willing to consume Paragon from the cloud, and 42% said yes. And it actually makes a lot of sense because the SaaS solution over DIY has a 40% cost improvement. It is 50% faster to deploy it the first time, to get it off the ground. And once you've got it off the ground, it's 70% faster to churn out innovations, weekly, monthly basis. And even when we think about AI ops, cloud is the way to do AI ops, because the key to doing it right is to have data at scale and crowdsource the intelligence. And this is where we want to be the leader. Enough said from me. I want to tell you all that Paragon Cloud is not just a vision in a video or on paper. Uh, the pace at which our engineering teams have been moving is phenomenal. It's real. Of course, it's not yet ready for launch and production for you to sell. We plan to make it FRS in first half of next year. But the value of the cloud is you can actually see how far we've gotten along. So instead of me showing you Paragon Cloud live, I'd love to invite Ming Kai to dive into Paragon Cloud. I set him up a little bit in advance with the link and the username to Paragon Cloud. He also has a password, the keys to the kingdom, and that's about it. So let's see, Ming, how it feels for you to touch and have Paragon in your hands on your laptop.
Thank you, Kanika. Yeah, really excited to be one of the few people being invited to get this preview, right? And team, this is the first time I'm gonna log in. I feel like a YouTuber doing a unboxing video of a very, very new prototype. So let's go, right? So I've copied the password and see what we get. Oh, I have a series of organization. I think Epic is the one. First impression, like Kanika, I like the map. It zooms quickly, zippy. That's good. Modern interface. I like this, and that's one of the benefit of the cloud, right? To me, when you have a public cloud, when you have a million more devices, we can just scale the resources in the backend to make sure this zippiness is quick. Response is still there. Let me go take a look at what devices do we have in here. Oh, that's pretty quick as well. Okay, I see that we have a couple of virtual and a couple of physical devices here. Let me just pick one of this, right? Oh, you get virtual visualization of your device, even though it's a virtual one. That's excellent. Some ports are up and down.
Can you also try the ACX? There's one more. Maybe you'll get to see the actual chassis.
This one?
Yeah, this one. I don't know why it's not showing up, guys. This is a staging, not prod, so it keeps on changing. If you can double click, you should be able to open the device. Oh, no.
It's saying not
Okay.
connected there, Kanika, on the right. So
Yeah, I wonder if
Okay.
engineering played around with it. This is a live instance. Well, then this is
Oh,
what happened.
and disclaimer, guys, it's not my fault. Even though I'm I'm known to break things, but yeah. But I think it's pretty good. I mean, even for the virtual ones and all that, you still see some visualization of the virtual devices. It's pretty nice. And let me go back here, right? Uh, I guess you have some configuration templates, which probably is what you use to drive some of those onboarding and configuration and change management. Very, very nice. Monitoring health. I'm from a network management background before. Whoa, this looks pretty cool. Reminds me of some of the management software I've used before. But and look, I like I like the modern interface. Modern look is fast. Is and as the details are there, but well summarized in some of this color coding, the traffic light coding. This is nice, like this. Let me look at the topology. Okay, this is what we saw just now again. I like this because it feels fast. It feels that you've got a live map below that. And I can imagine that once you guys flash this up, you can even see all the links, the logical and the connectivity with all that, very similar to the planners and stuff we had before. One thing I must say, right, if I move back to the health thing, right, the interface like this to me means that the learning curve is actually going to be not very steep for customers. I mean, if I compare this to the health bot of the past, right, you need to learn about the run books and all that. This seems to be more intuitive. You go in, you see, look at the device, you see what alarms associated. This is really good. Let me on onboarding. I'm going to click that, but let me go to organization, audit logs. I think this is important, right? For we talk about cloud, we talk about pushbacks on cloud. I think a lot of people want to know whether I could make sure that have an audit log to see who changed my stuff, who moved my keys and stuff like that, right? So
Who deleted our ACX?
yeah, we raised the aaS, right? I mean, maybe we won't do it here in front of everyone, so just not to incriminate people, but this is good. Let me look at inventory. Okay, you have routers here. Okay, these are one. Yes, the aaS has been disconnected, as we can see even from this view, consistent with what I saw just now. Yeah, and I can imagine, right, Kanika, correct me if I'm wrong, that once this will be a single interface for all Juniper devices, right? And I can imagine even access points or switches will all pop up here, right? Depending what the customer wants, as you said, right, different use cases or different environment that they bring here, they all show up here in one single interface.
Absolutely. That's the power of a common Juniper cloud. So all the off-box applications will be hosted here. And for example, in this inventory, you see the tab for router and a
Yes.
proxy. And in the future, you will see a tab for switches, for wireless LAN, for security and so on. So it's one place for a common Juniper experience for the customer.
Very nice, very nice. I mean, I really, first impression, as I said, I like the interface, like the fast speed of the responses. I mean, we have one of the biggest bugbears of a lot of automation users is that, hey, it's slow, right? And if it's slow, it is supposed to be a productivity tool. If your productivity tool that's supposed to help you be productive is slower than you are, people get impatient, right? This is very zippy. This is very fast. I really like it. And you have all the single sign-on. I can imagine that we have single sign-on across enterprise. This is nice. Very, very nice. I mean,
Thank you so much, Minkai. I'm so happy that
cool.
that you joined us to do this live. And end of the day, the goal is to put this in the hands of all the GTMs. So, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me stop sharing then.
All right, that was it. And I just want to remind everybody, this is coming. Please ask us questions. And please start the conversation now. Position this together with Cloud Metro. We've got a very, very powerful story together like no other.